A wildebeest calf hits the ground on the open savanna, and within 6 minutes, it stands up, not wobbles, stands. Within a day, it's running with the herd. Pause. A human baby, born with the most powerful brain on the planet, can't even lift its own head for weeks. It can't roll over. It can't tell you what's wrong. Only that something is. Beat. What the official record on evolution rarely mentions is that this isn't a flaw nature forgot to fix. It might be the most important design choice it ever made. But to understand why, we need to ask a stranger question than why are babies so weak? We need to ask what it actually means to be unfinished. Every other animal that matters in this story, giraffes, zebras, horses, wildebeest, is born running, almost literally. Their brains arrive wired. Their bodies arrive operational. They are, in a very real sense, complete the moment they hit the ground. Humans are different. A newborn's brain is a fraction of its adult size, with almost none of the insulation that lets neurons fire efficiently. We can't regulate our temperature, can't feed ourselves, can't move with purpose. For decades, scientists explained this with one tidy story. Bigger brains, narrower hips, something had to give, but that story has started to fall apart under real evidence. Everything seemed settled, until researchers started asking what we actually gain by being born broken. For a long time, the dominant explanation was the obstetric dilemma. Humans stood upright, our hips narrowed for efficient walking, and our brains kept growing larger, so evolution split the difference by evicting babies early, before their skulls got too big to fit. It's elegant, it's intuitive, it connects two true facts into a satisfying story. Slow down, but here's where the story takes a darker turn. When anthropologist Holly Dunsworth actually tested whether wider hips make walking less efficient, she found no meaningful penalty at all. Women with naturally wider pelvic openings walk and run just as well as anyone else. The mechanical trade-off, the whole theory, depended on simply didn't hold up. So if it isn't really about hip width, what is it about? A 2023 study analyzing data across 140 mammal species found something stranger. Human brain development isn't actually behind schedule compared to other primates. It only looks behind, because our adult brains are so enormous that any newborn percentage looks small by comparison. Build. We're not born early because we ran out of room. We may be born early and unfinished on purpose. Ask yourself this. If a brain wired entirely before birth, like a giraffe's, can only ever become what its genes already decided, what happens to a brain that gets to keep building itself after it meets the world? A giraffe born in one grassland and a giraffe born in another will turn out nearly identical. A human born in the Arctic and a human born in the Amazon will turn out to be almost nothing alike. That difference is not an accident. It is the entire point. A precocial animal, a horse, a wildebeest, a giraffe, pays up front. Everything it needs is loaded in before birth, and the moment it's born, it's finished, functional, but fixed. Pause. A human baby pays differently. It arrives with a brain that is, almost literally, asking a question instead of stating an answer. In its first year alone, that brain forms new connections at a rate of roughly 1,000 per second. By age 2 or 3, it holds nearly twice as many connections as it will keep into adulthood, and then spends the next decade quietly pruning away whatever the world didn't ask it to keep. The world was told that helplessness is what happens when development runs out of time. The reality is closer to the opposite. Helplessness is what buys the time. We are not unfinished because something went wrong. We are unfinished because finished things can't change. This is not just a fact about infancy. Look at how much of adult life is still, in a sense, that same baby on its back. Listening, absorbing, pruning beliefs that no longer serve, building a self out of whatever the world hands it next. We tend to treat having it figured out as the goal. But the species that conquered every continent on Earth didn't get there by arriving finished. It got there by staying open longer than anything else alive. Most people will spend their whole life trying to feel complete. Now you can see that incompleteness was never the problem. It was the mechanism. So the next time you see a newborn lying there, doing nothing, demanding everything, remember, that uselessness is not a bug in the system. It's the most expensive, most deliberate investment evolution ever made in a single creature. An investment in becoming over being. Beat. If this story changed how you see something as simple as a crying baby, there are more hiding in plain sight. Next time, we go looking for one of them.